It's kind of crazy what AI can do these days, right? It can whip up these stunning pieces of art that look like they're straight out of a Studio Ghibli movie. It can compose music. It can even write entire movie scripts. And while that's an amazing leap forward, it also makes us face a really, really uncomfortable question. I mean, seriously, if an AI can churn out creative work in literally seconds, what does that mean for us? Are we watching the end of human creativity as we know it? Is there even a place left for the artist in a world full of these super intelligent machines? That's the big question we're diving into today. You've definitely seen this stuff online. You just type a few words into an AI and bam, there's a picture of you in a perfect Disney Pixar style, or a painting that looks like a lost masterpiece. And it does this by just gobbling up thousands of existing artworks and learning all their little patterns and tricks. And it's not just pictures. Get this. AI can analyze the voice of a legendary singer, someone like Muhammad Rafi, and then create a brand new song that sounds exactly like him. It's incredible from a tech standpoint, but also, a little bit spooky. But it doesn't stop there. The threat feels even more real when you realize AI can be told to write whole scenes, come up with character dialogue, and even structure an entire screenplay. If you're a creative professional, this feels less like a cool toy and more like a direct challenge to your entire career. So the challenge from AI seems pretty clear. But to really understand what's going on, we first have to pump the brakes and question something we all take for granted: what it even means to be original. We love to criticize AI for not being original, right? We say it's just remixing all the data it was fed. But are we really any different? Some philosophers have argued that none of our thoughts are truly our own, that our minds have been programmed since we were kids. The writer Mark Twain put it even more directly. He was convinced that there's no such thing as a new idea. Everything we think of as new, every single innovation, is really just a mashup of old ideas that were already lying around. He had this great analogy for it: the mental kaleidoscope. He said our minds are filled with all these old ideas, like little colored beads in a tube. We give our minds a shake, and the beads form a new, beautiful pattern. The pattern might be new, sure, but the little pieces it's made from, they're ancient. Okay, so if humans are just shaking the kaleidoscope and remixing old ideas, how is that fundamentally different from what an AI is doing? Well, this brings us to a potential double standard in how we think about creativity. Let's just break this down. A human artist goes to art school and studies the great masters. An AI gets fed data of the great masters. The human analyzes their styles. The AI analyzes their styles. Then they both create something new based on what they learned. But for some reason, when the human does it, we call it inspiration. When the AI does it, we call it imitation. Is that really fair? And hey, let's be real for a second. Human inspiration can often look an awful lot like straight-up copying. So many hugely successful movies are, well, heavily inspired by other movies. The line between being inspired and just imitating was pretty blurry long before AI ever showed up. So if AI is just doing what humans have always done, remixing ideas, then maybe it isn't the real enemy here. Maybe the actual threat to art isn't technology at all. Maybe it's something else entirely. The true threat might just be what we could call factory films. This isn't art, it's a product. It's entertainment that's mass-produced, like fast food, following a super safe, standardized formula that's designed for one thing and one thing only: to make as much money as possible. And the formula is totally mechanical. You just analyze what made money before, create a cookie-cutter template, and then hit repeat. In this kind of system, any kind of risk or originality is the enemy, and that's why we get this endless stream of sequels, remakes, and remixes that all feel exactly the same. And here's the most important part. When the whole point is just to create a formulaic product, the individual worker, the artist, just becomes a cog in a machine. It makes absolutely no difference whether a human or an AI is turning the crank, as long as the formula gets followed. And here's the really wild part. AI is extremely good at following formulas. When someone asked ChatGPT to just generate some over-the-top, masala-style one-liners for an action hero, it spit out lines that are, well, they're arguably better than what we see in a lot of blockbuster films today. So this completely reframes the whole debate, doesn't it? The real fight isn't AI versus humans, it's the corporate factory model versus the individual artist. The corporations look at AI and see a fantastic way to cut costs and make their assembly line even more efficient. But this isn't a story about machines taking over, not at all. look at a filmmaker like Anurag Kashyap. His films are a direct reflection of his life, his experiences, his unique way of seeing the world. No Smoking was basically him screaming his frustration onto the screen. Dev D was his personal, modern take on a classic story. An AI could never, ever create these films because an AI hasn't lived his life. Which brings us to the final, really crucial point. AI isn't inherently good or bad. Its impact depends completely on who is using it. For a giant corporation running a film factory, it's a threat. It's a tool to replace workers and save money. But for an individual artist, it can be the exact opposite. I mean, think about it. For an independent creator, AI is a massive game changer. It slashes costs. An artist can now generate illustrations for their own book, create amazing concept art for a film, or even produce entire animated shorts all by themselves. AI can be the great equalizer, empowering single voices to finally compete with the giant studios. So in the end, AI is really forcing us to look in the mirror. It can imitate any style, but it can never replicate a soul. This technology isn't going away. So the real question for all of us is this. In an age where literally anything can be imitated, what is the unique, personal experience that makes your work truly authentic?